Hey everybody! So this is the first installment of this new episode series with no name, but I'll have to figure out a name at some point. But anyhow, so here's what I have for you today. I went to film a seminar this weekend, and I figured I would share that with you, as much as I could share. I had a few issues here and there, and I would like to share the checklist of what I did to make sure that I had the least issues possible, and also what you can do to circumvent a few things and make sure that it's better next time. So here goes. First of all, knowing where you're gonna shoot is a great thing, because for many reasons. Because first of all, it's very important for a sound. You never know where, if you don't know, or if you didn't scout beforehand to know where you're going. If, for example, all the walls are just smooth surfaces and no furniture, no carpet, nothing, the sound may be a bit echoey, I'd say, and you may have problems in post-prod to make sure that the sound, well, sounds good. So that's something to think about. The next thing is the brightness. So, and how many lights is there? Do you need more? Is it good lighting? Would it just screw up your filming? In my case, it was not good, but I ended up being okay with how everyone were sitting, and speaker was walking around and was okay with that. So there's that. And another important point is to where you're positioning your cameras, because in my case I had 3 cameras, and I was trying to have good angles, because in this case it was a seminar with a speaker. So ideally I just saw that okay, so the speaker is talking, and the best angle would be to be a bit on the side, a bit of a broader view, and also in front as much as possible, so it's like he is or she is looking at us and speaking to us. So it's better looking, and also to be sure that the speaker is within frame, so it doesn't look weird or just hitting the wall in the frame, or just weird looking. So I did my best for that, but it's important to know where you're positioning your cameras for those reasons, and also for lighting and settings and all that. So that's important. Another point I have here is preparation is very important. Ideally, the day before, you just set up your stuff. You make sure that you have a list of all the stuff you need or you may need. Do you have cards, SD cards, compact flash, depending on the type of camera you have? Do you have enough batteries? Do you have all the cables you need? Do you have tape? Seems weird, but tape could be useful to just tape down some cables. I did. It was important. I almost fell, so I did. So, and after that, and to be sure, just in case, you can just make a checklist just to be sure. That can help as well. And the other point here, the other checklist is, just in case, bring more stuff. Because it could sometimes be important to just bring more. Just in my case, I had a laptop, an external drive, more cables and all that. I brought a ton of stuff. I ended up not needing all of this, but I felt reassured that I had enough stuff and a bit more to make sure that I didn't stress over not having this item in case, or just maybe I'm overcautious or just too stressed. That could be it. But anyway, I just brought extra stuff. And if you're not going to shoot something on a 30th floor of a building and you have 3,000 pounds of stuff to bring with you, I think you'd be fine to just bring extra bags. Just grab them from the car and go back and forth a few times. That's it. So that could be an option. Another thing here is be sure to have extra batteries. and extra cards and all that. So I already mentioned it, but just in case, just to be sure. The other point is test, test, test. You can never test enough. Well, maybe you can, but you know where I'm going with that. Make sure to verify your hardware, your stuff, your cables, that everything is working properly before and on site. Just to be sure. Just to be sure, because when you're in a rush and when you're doing your shooting and you're filming and whatever, and you have to run around with stuff and something doesn't go right, instead of freaking out, you can say, okay, so I have that in case, or this won't happen because I already checked. So you don't go crazy. That helps. Also, another thing to check the volume. Check the volume inputs and make sure that the mic or mics are working and it doesn't peak or it doesn't clip in the sound. So this is something very important to check for. And just because it's normal, if you can save some time in post-production and don't have to edit the sound that much after that, because you just made it sound better before, you save time. So after that, make sure to change the batteries and make sure that they're fresh batteries in there if you didn't charge them before, but you already charged them because you checked, right? So make sure to change the batteries in case, if you're not sure. In case you just forgot and you left the camera open while traveling to the destination, and then it just ate up all the batteries. That happens. Another point is to make sure to back up your stuff, or make sure that you have way more storage than you need for shooting. For example, I had nearly 600 gigs of SD card storage for this shoot. I had a lot of SD cards, just enough for 3 cameras, so that's fine for that. And I had an extra external drive and a laptop in case to back up stuff, and had the adapter to transfer SD cards to USB and whatnot. But I ended up having problems with that, so that's one thing. But I tested it the day before, but maybe not enough. And one other point is the focus. Focus is very important because nobody wanna look at out of focus video. It's not fun. It's not fun. So you have two schools of thought here. It's either autofocus or manual focus. It depends on what you need to shoot. So in that case, I had to film a speaker that was walking around a lot, and then manual focus would not be a good idea if I have a standalone camera that is just filming one angle that I'm not nearby, if I'm alone to shoot with 3 cameras. So I had to set it up as autofocus, and I walked out and just continued my other stuff, checking for other cameras, and then came back and just realized that it was out of focus because it was not set on face tracking. So it was just focusing on the background. It was looking good when I did it, but then after that, the guy moved and came back and was not at the same distance from the camera, and the focus was out of focus. So that's a problem. Also, make sure to always clean your lenses, just in case. Make sure that there's no dust or just spot in there, just in case. You never know. It's something that you just handle the camera and just put your thumb on the lens, and it just gets mushy, and if you don't think about it, it may happen. So that's something worth thinking about. And another thing is, which happened to me this weekend, if you forgot to remove a filter from the lens, for example, in my case it was a polarized filter, and it could look ugly So I was wondering, I was like, what the heck is going on? And in fact, it was just the filter. So I removed it, but I didn't think about it beforehand. That's another thing that could happen if you're rushing things. So that's it for me today, and I'll just say I had a blast to do that filming this weekend. Now I have to edit it, and I'm learning new stuff about using multi-camera settings in Adobe Premiere. And it's weird the way it works because it considers angles. Whenever the camera is moving, it considers this another angle. So I kind of screwed up there, but I'll make it up. I'll be able to fix that, no problem. So in that case, I'll film another episode with more details later on how I was able to edit this and the tips and tricks I came along with those while editing this long footage. So I'll see you in the next video, hopefully. Ciao!